Catwoman number 13, written by Ann Nocenti, art by Rafa Sandoval. This is ostensibly a prelude to Death of the Family. Yeah. So we pick up with Catwoman. She's just on a random rooftop as a toy starts floating towards her on a balloon. And she swipes at it and she recognizes it as a cute little cat doll. And then she flashes back to her old friend Lola from like the first 3 issues of this series and how the toy actually belonged to her. And she's like, okay, but that thing burned up in the fire that I set. She claims explosion, but that's not how it happened. And then later on she says fire, so whatever. But she's like, oh, that thing burned up. Someone must personally know me and like who I was in order to do this. So that's not good. But as she looks around up on the rooftops, she sees a silhouette figure standing there. And she's like, okay, well, I'm coming after you, whoever you may be. And so she runs after him, and things get like really trippy for 2 pages, where they're all of a sudden on a knight's, like a chessboard, and there's a knight piece up there. And then she runs by, and there is a picture of a green cat that's like a Cheshire cat smiling. And then all of a sudden she comes across a toy robot that displays her like Catwoman image, which I didn't even know there was a Catwoman image, but regardless, displays that up into the night sky. And she says it's a toy robot, but at the same point, it's like massive. Like she has to shove her whole fist in this spotlight in order to stop it. So I genuinely don't know what's going on with that. And when she finally catches up with the silhouette, it turns out it is her own costume. And she's like, I was chasing my shadow the whole time. And then we just leave. We just move on to something else. So maybe that's the Joker. Like it looked like the Joker's silhouette, but I don't get it. So anyway, she's talking to Gwen, saying how she's moved into this big penthouse that nobody's actually staying in. And she starts stripping down out of her civilian clothes into her Catwoman's outfit. By the way, I just leafed through this trade to start it, like, just see what all happened in a general sense. Every single issue, she has some reason to strip. It is shameless. But regardless, Gwen says, yep, nope, I got a job for you, but you got to go meet this guy at a chess club. That's where he wants to meet up. So she goes to this chess club in costume, but also in disguise over the costume. And this guy comes up and he's like, all right, my name's Trip Winter. We want you to steal the Black Queen from here and move it to the White Queen there. And in the process, a pawn will be sacrificed. And she's like, what are you talking about? Also, that sounds like a hit. I don't do hits. And it's like, no, like there's a literal like Black Queen piece at this point in Gotham, and you need to move it to this location where there's a White Queen piece. And she's like, okay, I guess. So she goes to the place, she has one night in between then, and somehow the little toy robot, which is now actually toy-sized, breaks into her room and starts like spying on her, and then she just breaks it. And then we get to the actual heist thing. And she does a whole thing of her scouting out, saying like which people are paid thugs, which people are just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she's reasoning through it all until finally she's like, okay, there's a fat guy in there, and I'm going to use him as a counterbalance in order to get this whole thing going. So she realizes the moment's right. She dives in. She wraps her rope around the Black Queen piece, wraps the other side of her rope around the fat guy who just really wants a slice of his friend's pizza. It's a whole thing. But then fight breaks out. She manages to knock the guy out, counterbalanced, and moves the Black Queen over to where the White Queen piece is, all in one fell swoop. But when she knocks over the White Queen piece, she sees that there's a person inside. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were in there. Let me get you out. And she's like, no, you idiot. Don't let me out. It's a trap. The pawn will be sacrificed. And then all of a sudden the queen explodes with the woman inside of it. And then we see what looks to be like a trash can nearby. And inside is a little girl. She's like, are you the pawn? She's like, yeah. So Catwoman breaks her out. A bomb is also on that, which also explodes. But the girl survives. And then Catwoman's like, all right, now what? And that's where we leave off. Genuinely, I don't know. I have no idea what just happened there. This is a very confusing issue. I like the art. Rafa Sandoval does a fantastic job on that. Can't complain at all, really. But yeah, no, I just don't get it. I genuinely like. I don't get it. And I think this is the start of Anna Senti's run. I could be very wrong on that. I think that she started at the Zero issue last month, and now this is her first like arc. I don't get how this is a tie into Death of the Family. I don't get like, I mean, I get this is the setup issue to the arc, but at the same point, I don't get what we're setting up. This is just weird in a lot of ways. So, yeah, overall, I guess this one gets like a 6. Most of that's carried by the art, and I'm kind of giving it the benefit of the doubt that it will make some sort of sense moving on. But from what I know of Anna Senti from Green Arrow, that's giving it probably too much credit. So the 6 is very tenable, and it will likely drop as we move forward.